There he is. Take it away, Glenn.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Why don't you give me a text message, Amy, so that I can see that message is coming through and that my voice is coming through loud and clear. Here I am. I am ready to give a talk about kite making. In the back, you see a couple of kites that I've made. I wanted to talk about different kinds of kites, and you think I need to turn the video on. I see video coming through just fine. Great. Uh, there's me, and I'm going to continue. So here's a kite that I made. This one's called a Rakaku kite, and this one is a great kite for flying in a variety of winds. It's made out of very sturdy nylon material, and I used carbon fiber spars on the back to make it strong. Now, this one has a bridle. This is all sewn to get the pieces to stay together, and great kite for flying in a variety of winds. The next one, the one behind it, is the same style of kite, a Rakaku kite, which was a Japanese style of kite. This one is made with modern materials, and this one I made for flying at night. So for flying at night, it has this highly reflective stuff on it. So from the ground, you can shine a flashlight on it, and the snowflake lights up at night. Great, great kite for flying, even from 100 feet away. A flashlight on the kite will make it shine brilliantly. Now, let's see. Over here, I have a bird kite. Let me get around here. Bird kite, butterfly kite. This is a Chinese kite. This kite is from Bermuda, a Bermuda style of kite with wood and plastic. Also Bermuda over here. Let me turn the camera a little bit. Is a Bermuda kite made out of wood and paper. This is a kite that I've made, which is a beehive kite. And another Japanese style kite, let me hold this one up. This one is beautifully painted. This one is made from bamboo and paper. You can see the bamboo spine here. And beautifully hand painted. This one is made in Japan and has a lot of bridle lines to set it up and fly well. When it flies, it actually flies with a hummer to make noise. Now, turning a little bit to the side here, I have some miniature kites in that frame. I have a Chinese kite here. This is a fighter kite, which is made by an artist, and another miniature kite that I made. In the back of me, let's see if you can see that. Yes, a big, beautiful kite. This one is made by Randy Tom, who's an artist making a variety of kites. And if I can twist it around just a little bit more, a kite by Ron Gideon to the side and to the back. So now down here, I wanted to show you that I have a couple of displays of miniature kites. That's one of the things that I like about kites is that you can make them in a variety of sizes. And this one is a little kite that I call Big Nose. Here's a snowman kite. And the snowman kite has a tail made out of thread with Christmas lights on it. Here's another snowman kite. This one's made out of tissue paper and very thin bamboo strips. You can kind of see the horizontal lines with the bamboo. And one of the interesting things is that this one is a little bit asymmetrical because you can see the scarf matches the broom. So even though the kite is the same, the picture changes side by side. and a ghost kite, which also would do well for flying at night. I made all of those, and I also made all of these. These are a couple of Japanese kite styles. And this one is called an Edo style. What I did was I took a piece of printed tissue paper and modified it to become a very lightweight tissue paper kite. The complicated part about that is getting the bridle in the right place. This one is another Rikaku kite, just like the two that I showed you in large size. In the small scale, it has a long tail that I added to help it fly. And this one you see right now is flat. It doesn't fly when it's flat. It has to be pulled into a curve. So what I do is on the back, I have two little tension lines made out of thread that pull the kite into a curve so that facing the wind goes on both sides of the kite and the kite stays stable in the wind. So that's a very nice flyer as a result. Here's a couple of kites of my own design. This one I called a blue stripe, and this one I called a green arrow. And someday I'd like to make the green arrow in a full sort of large size. Now, just showing you kites is one thing, but another thing is that we could actually fly them inside. Since they're small, they don't require much wind. So let's see if my headset will allow me to do this. I'm going to just fly this one just like that. And you can see that it flies well above my hand and back in the box. So it really does fly, and it really does fly well. Next one I have is a combination kite, and this one can also fly in here. That's one of the great things. I mean, since we're at home, we might as well build things, and if we can, fly them. So here is the combination kite flying. I hope you can see that. Flying very well and flying above my hand. The kite is not flying if you're just dragging it around. Then it becomes a little bit more of a flag than a kite. I think you'll like this one. This one is a Batman kite. And I made this one from tissue paper and carbon fiber spars. And flies like that. Great. How about if I just show you a couple more? This one is made from balsa wood and tissue paper. And this one's called a Cody kite, C-O-D-Y, invented in the early 1900s and actually patented in 1901. This style of kite was built at about 20 feet wide, and I reproduced it as a small little guy. Speaking of small little guys, here's a tiny little kite called Be Mine, and I won a prize for this in the smallest kite contest, and the Be Mine won for not just flying, but for being beautiful in flight. I also won a smallest kite contest for a smallest kite, and this tiny little thing here, wrapped up in its tails right there, is the kite, and actually does fly. I don't think I'm going to take the time to set it up right now, because what I'd like to do is get to the point where we can build something ourselves. So we're going to build a tiny kite, and if you're prepared, you probably have some tissue paper, some tape, and a pair of scissors with you. What I'd like you to do is start by cutting out a piece of tissue paper, and the piece of tissue paper be, oh, about 2 thumbs wide and about 3 thumbs tall, like that. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is fold that tissue paper in half, and then use a scissor to cut out the tissue paper so that it looks like this, kind of a V shape at the bottom and a curve at the top. Again, my thumb covers each side of the kite, and then it's about 3 thumbs tall, the curve at the top and a point at the bottom. That's going to be the sail for our kite. Then what I'd like you to do is take a piece of tape. Now, I have a roll of tape here. What I want you to do is cut out a square of tape. If you can't do it right now, maybe you could finish this later. Cut out a square of tape and see how I've marked this in red. What I want you to do is cut it into 4 pieces so that you have tiny little pieces that are like this. Because we're making small kites, we might as well use small pieces of tape so that the resulting kite is as lightweight as possible. Then what I'd like you to do is take a piece of tissue paper. This one is a little sort of strip of tissue paper that's, about 1 foot to 18 inches long, and then roll it into a kind of a spiral like this. I'm going to tighten it a little bit, and then cut off a strip of that. That, when we unroll it, is very easy to make, but it's going to be the tail for our kite. And let's see, I don't see any comments or questions right now. So I'm going to take the tail, take one of those pieces, tiny pieces of tape, and then put it halfway on and halfway off on the tail as the first step. So tape on tail. Once that's done, I'm going to tape it. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the tail and the kite are straight in line. I tend to tape it on the back. Then I take a spool of thread, and any thread will do. If you go to the sewing store and you ask them for the cheap stuff, they'll know what you're talking about. Take a piece of thread, measure off, about 18 inches. So let's do that. For me, 18 inches is, about a little longer than 2 hands wide. That, like that, gives me a piece of thread that's the right length. Then I'm going to turn the kite not onto the back, but onto the front. Take one of those tiny pieces of tape that I had from before. Remember, we made 4, and attach the tape to the thread. Very easy, just stick the tape on the thread. Now, I want the thread to be at the top, so I'm going to turn the kite and turn the thread until the thread is at the top and the tail is at the bottom. Then, about 1/3 of the way down, I'm going to tape it onto the very middle of the kite. Once I've done that, I am almost ready to fly. What I do is make sure that it's folded so that it has a V shape like this. I don't want it to be completely flat, and I don't want it to be closed. I want it to sort of have a V shape flying into the wind, and then I can walk down the hallway and fly my kite just like that. Great. This will be a great kite for flying at walking speed, a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it very much. So I've shown you a lot of different kites. I have a website about miniature kites called Kiting USA. I also have some kite books that are available for sale on Amazon. There's a Facebook group. If you're interested in flying kites, then you you might want to join that Facebook group, because when the restrictions are lifted, we'll be flying kites at many locations, and you can find out about them through that Facebook group. There's also a bunch of clubs that fly kites, and these are clubs in our area. There's a lot of clubs to be found. Kites Over New England is all over New England. The Connecticuters in Connecticut, and the Nor'easters in Maine. So there you have 4 different clubs to join. So I'm going to check again to see whether there's any questions. I don't see any right now. Great, and you can hear me, and I'm good. And I don't see any questions, so I'm going to say thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to show you more kites and maybe do another workshop with another kite. I built dozens of kites. There's lots of fun to be had, and I hope you're going to enjoy it very much. Thanks.